Hello, guys, and welcome to this Golden Dialogue. My name is Bertrand Obasi. We are here to discuss an aphorism that we use normally in our daily activities, which is experience is the best teacher. But first of all, before introducing the main topic of this dialogue, I would like to introduce by my right here a gentleman, a young guy, Anthony Odumegu Chukwuemeka. And with me here is NLP Cornelius or Josh Shegbe. Or Josh Shegbe. Let's just like I don't know whether you have anything to say about the meaning of that name, for us to know. Or Josh Shegbe. What tribe is it?
Okay, Ojoshile is a local name it's a local name from Kogi State, which is north central of Nigeria. It's being beard by the Igalas, and it means God has done well. Ojo, God, Shigbe, done well. So God has done well.
So it actually means that in Africa, we usually name our own by the situation of events, maybe something that might have transpired in the past during the course of the maybe would I say pregnancy or the hardship or the joyful moment or whatever it is. Then you, after giving birth to a child, you give the child a name according to your experience. Since we are talking about experience, so I believe that might be the reason you bear that name. So glory to God for that. Something good actually happened to your mother for her that resulted to her to give you that name. Now I'll move over to my brother here, Anthony Chukwuemeka Odumegu. Odumegu, I know of Ojukwu. Ojukwu, is it Ojukwu Odumegu or something like that? Okay, good. Ojukwu Odumegu. So do you have any link with him, or is it's just a name on your own?
These pictures should match.
It's just the name of my own.
Well,
Just the name of my own. I'm my own Odumegu, so the only similarities we share is just that we are from the same state. But apart from that, the name is just my name. It's a family name.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, we move over to the main topic of this dialogue. This is a golden dialogue. That's what we call it, golden dialogue. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please just click on the red button below there and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be getting our videos as we upload them immediately. And then click on the bell button there so that you can be getting notifications. Like our video, you can also drop your comments below so that we can be able to assess our own dialogue from what you post. So experience. We'll talk about experience. Say experience is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. In this dialogue, we'll be looking at what is experience. What is actually experience? When we say experience, what do we mean by experience? We'll be asking the question, how can we experience something? How can we experience something? And when we experience something, do we actually learn from it? Or do we learn from what the experience of other people than our own? And if experience is not the best teacher, what again is the best teacher? We might not necessarily come to a conclusion that experience is the best teacher, but want to evaluate this aphorism to know if actually this aphorism stands in all forms of examination. So let us have a working definition of what experience is. So what is experience? What do you see experience as? What do you define it as?
okay, I think I'll say experience is a practical contact with an observation of facts or events. Experience could not necessarily be you personal, as in having that personal contact with it. It could be you getting this experience from somebody who had the original experience. For instance, our parents, they will sit us down, tell us how they grew up, what happened. These were basically stories. Well, these were stories that shaped them, made them strong, made them who they are today. And they want us to learn from that experience. So they are passing that experience on to us. You see, tomorrow somebody says he believes like his father, or he has the idea or motives of his father. He has learned from his father's experience. He knows his father's experience. That experience has gotten into him as well. So for me, that is my own working and experience.
Okay, I would like to like to derive some words from your definition. You say experience is you define it as a practical contact with an observation of facts or events. When you say practical contact, what do we mean by practical contact? Practical. Do we only have a theoretical contact? As long as we have a practical contact, we also have a theoretical contact.
Okay, I don't think we have theoretical contact. Now, I would explain.
Okay.
Consider an engineer who is in class. He gets down all the theory and he goes out for field work. He may not be able to put a theory into the field work. Now, it does not. He's not just being sent to the field. He does a kind of a sample field work where the lecturer does not just give him the theory. The lecturer brings him to the field and tells him, okay, this is what we've written down in class. Now it's time to take that into a kind of practical.
Okay. You're trying to explain that experience is not a theoretical contact, but rather it's a practical contact.
Exactly.
It's a practical contact. So when somebody says that experience is a theoretical contact, no, the person is not really actually getting the meaning
Of
of
experience,
experience.
yeah, exactly.
Experience has to do with practicalism.
If I have to come in, I think talking about the practical contact of experience, I think for experience itself, the practical contact it talks about is involvement in.
Involvement
Yeah,
in
that means that person has to be involved in that event.
in that event.
The
In that
person has to
event,
have
yes.
participated in that event that would lead to an experience.
Yes.
Though I think more if someone tells you an experience, the person is telling you the lessons he has learned from the experience, which means the person has already learned a lesson from his experience and is sharing his lessons. But you're not experiencing that.
Okay.
It's like experience of being in a pool. I can come and share my experience of being in the pool with you,
But I am
you're
not
in the
necessarily
pool,
the one
and you don't even know.
experiencing-
I've just told my experience, and you may have your own experience too.
Okay.
And I'm the one in the pool.
Okay.
You may not even know how it feels to be in the pool, but I can tell you. But you may not know.
Yeah.
When our parents tell us all the stories that happens in the 80s and 90s, we hear those stories. We imagine how it would have happened, but it is not what happened.
But now, can we learn from those theoretical experience?
Yes,
Well, I
for
say
sure.
from the theoretical experience passed on to us. Can we learn from them?
For sure, since they are lessons taught by people, we can learn from them.
You know, because we are having a dialogue on the aphorism. Experience is the best teacher, and we define experience as a practical contact and not a theoretical contact.
Yes.
Now, let me say that the person who is passing on his experience, his or her experience, to you, is sharing the theoretical aspect of the experience with you.
like
Yes, with you. Now, can you also learn from that theoretical aspect of it, which the person have shared to you?
almost all our common education is theoretical aspect of it.
So now, which one do you learn more from?
The one
The practical experience or the theoretical experience?
You learn more from the practical experience. Now, I would just like to give examples. And my example would be a kind of a question. Who do you think would okay, let me begin by we're in class and the lecturer asked who is asked we were asking different professions. So somebody says he's an engineer and the lecturer asked him, Can you fix my car? And his reply was no. No, I can't fix your car. The lecturer was taken aback, and then he said, I can't fix your car because I've not been involved in practical aspects
Of
engineering.
of engineering, yes.
Now, the difference with that engineer and the roadside mechanic, the difference is clear. The engineer has a degree, a certificate. He sat down in class for 4 years without any practical experience. The roadside mechanic is involved in practical experience every day he sets out to the workshop. Who do you think will do a better job? Although the engineer may have vast knowledge, modern knowledge about technologies, about this, but this mechanic, all he has to do, you may be surprised if he has to learn the theoretical aspect of engineering. He may not even spend 4 years in class. IS may spend maybe 2 years or even less, because this is something he does practical experience of it every day he sets out to the workshop.
Okay, now there is something I heard somewhere. They said, I heard somewhere that experience is not the best teacher, but an evaluated experience. An evaluated experience. So, what impression does that leave on you?
I think we're saying experience is not the best teacher, but an evaluated experience is still goes there that the person is still believing that experience is the best teacher, which me personally I don't take. Once you say an evaluated experience, that means this is an experience that someone must have looked into, like you've experienced something and then you've taken time to evaluate your experience and now you get the lessons from it. Yes, you can get lessons from experience. Experience can be a teacher, but for me, I don't think experience should be given that prestige as the best teacher. Because once we check now, once we try to analyze that word, experience is the best teacher. We start experience. What is experience?
So it
Practical.
it means that you cannot actually learn something without experiencing it. That is what the statement leave. That is the impression that the statement is leaving on us.
No, that's not the impression. I think the statement is leaving this impression that experience is the best teacher. Look at it well. Experience is the best teacher. That means for you to say something is the best, that means there are good and better options. But now there's a best option. Yes, because that is the degree it goes from. Good, better, best. That means there are good ways to learn, there are better ways to learn, but experience is the best way to learn, which is wrong. We can learn from other better, interesting ways. There are many good things we can learn, other ways that is not true experience. Like we're talking about lessons that our parents tell us. They tell us these things and they change our life, they make us better people. Okay. It is not our experience, it is their own experience, which has nothing to do with us. It is now a lesson, which means that educating people with different things can give them a better view of life and make them live better, which does not necessarily need you to experience. So when you say that experience is the best teacher, it's as if everybody needs to experience coronavirus to know that coronavirus is real. which is a problem. It's as if everybody has to experience death to know that death is real. Who will tell the story? So for you saying experience is the best teacher, I can agree with you if you say experience is a good teacher.
It's a good teacher.
I can even agree with you if you say it's a better teacher. But for you saying experience is the best teacher, I would
allow me to come in here.
Okay.
Now, I like the example you gave about debt, because if you say example, experience is the best teacher. Okay, you have to experience everything
before you can
learn something. You have attained the highest form of learning. To get knowledge about a thing, you have to experience it. That is what the aphorism is pointing out to us. That for you to have the knowledge of, for instance, of the Supreme, you need to have experienced the Supreme. The Supreme here now being God. For you to have a perfect knowledge, have the highest form of knowledge of God, you need to have experienced God. Now, let's bring it back to death. Going by that affirmation, if you say death, if a person dies, what does he learn from that? Nothing. If a person dies, that's the experience. He has experienced death. What does he learn from death?
Anyway, that I would say, when we die, we do not actually have the opportunity of coming back to this world to tell what we have experienced. So we don't really know what that death has taught us. Do you understand my point? Like when you say experience at death, experience even at death, because you keep experiencing things as life progresses. You keep experiencing. Now you experience death, but you do not actually have the opportunity to come back to tell your experience. You don't actually have the opportunity to come back to express what you have learned from that experience.
Even moving out from death, let's think of an experience of an accident where you can have a chance to come back and eventually you lose your legs. Like you had this experience and you've lost your leg. What is the lesson you are going to? What lesson have you learned that I should they ask, if you want to cross the road, this is a road sign, red means stop, yellow means get ready, green means go. Okay. And you want to experience that word accident and you cross the road when you are not supposed to cross and you are being hit down by a car and you lost your legs. What have you learned? Okay, even if you have learned something, how can you now
maybe to be careful?
Okay, you've learned to be careful. Without your legs again. What will take you to the road again, sir?
Or even sorry.
Okay,
Or even you're not just even losing your legs. You have amnesia.
Yeah.
You are involved in an accident, and somehow you come back. You are revived, and you have amnesia. You don't remember who you are. You don't know what experience do you have to share. You've lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
You've lost every nitty-gritty of everything of you. You basically have to start from afresh. You basically have to be taught that when you are on the road, if the road says fly 40 meters per second, you don't fly up to 100 and such things. You basically have to learn that again. You basically have to learn that you don't use the knife to play. You don't play with fire and stuff. You basically lost everything. So I think these are little things that we have to consider before saying experience is the best teacher.
Okay. What of a case study? Like for instance, in school, students go to school and learn the theoretical aspect of the studies. Then for science students, they further their class discussion to practicalism. Some go to science lab to practicalize what they have learned. What do you have to say about that? Because I would not say it is not, but I would say it is not actually, or it is not. How will I put it? But the idea is, it is not actually most sufficient to learn the theoretical aspect of something without practicalizing it. Yeah, without practicalizing it. you further your class discussion to the practical, to the science lab, to practicalize what you have learned. By that you gain
More knowledge.
more knowledge. So what have you to say on that, since you pose that experience is not, we will not say it's the best teacher. Taking the scenario of a student in class who learns something about chemistry and goes into the chemistry lab to practicalize that. Because I believe that when you practicalize that, you get more knowledge. You get more knowledge. The one that your teacher taught you in class is not enough. What have you to say on that?
Okay, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a science student. Now, I attended to senior secondary school. Now, in my first senior secondary school, I had good grades, very, very good grades in chemistry.
Okay.
Very, very good grades in chemistry. I had A's in chemistry. In the theoretical part of the chemistry, my school was poor in the practical aspects. So we practically did little or nothing in the practical aspect of chemistry.
Okay.
Such that you could not identify this is sulfur, this is hydrogen oxide, this is chlorine, and the likes.
You just know the
know
theory.
it. Yes, I know it. I knew them. I knew basically if you mix these, basically if you mix hydrogen and oxygen, you get hydrogen oxide. You get H2O, hydrogen dioxide, which is basically water,
Okay.
and the likes. I knew what they were. If you mix this and you mix chlorine and then you get salt, NaCl, and the rest of them. I knew that these were theories we taught. I knew them at the back of my hands. Now, going to the new senior secondary school, I was lost. Why? Now, these students in the new secondary school, they were not just taught theoretical
theory,
aspects in
yes.
class. They were taken to the lab with the aid of the teacher, put them through. This is hydrogen, this is oxygen. You mix it together, you get water, which is hydrogen dioxide, you get HCl, you get water, and the likes. Now, I got there, I was lost. I couldn't identify this, I couldn't identify that. I could only identify the ones that were labeled, and then we did theory. I was basically lost until the aid of the teacher, aid of few of my classmates.
So now your point is are you pointing to the fact that experience, just a theoretical aspect of learning is not enough?
It's never enough. That's what I'm pointing out. It is never enough because getting, now let me go back. Getting to WAEC standard, the West African Examination Council, it's standard. We have basically two forms for science students. We have two forms of exams. We have the theoretical aspects of the exams, and then we come when we have the practicals, only practicals. For someone who has the theoretical knowledge, you might come and then you are writing or you are filling the paper and you are on top of the world. The day of the practical, you are blank because you don't know how to pipette, you don't know how to fix your burette, you don't know how to measure this, measure that. You don't know how to. You might even do damage to yourself because these are chemicals.
Okay.
They are very, very harmful. But with a handful of your practical knowledge
and theoretical knowledge,
you will do very, very well.
Okay,
Which
now
is what happened at the second.
Okay,
school.
okay. Now, another idea is coming to me right now. Since we say that theoretical aspect of something is not enough to know something, that we need experience. We need experience. What if we turn it the other way around and say the practical aspect of something is not enough to know something? For instance, somebody who enters into business, somebody who enters into business without reading or without studying business administration in the university. Let's assume the person will be doing well at a certain level, will be doing well actually, but with limitations, than somebody who went to study business administration in the university and comes out and enters into business. So what is your take on that? See, because before we were following the trend that experience is the best teacher. That is the practical aspect of experience. The practical aspect of experience will lead you to master something. It's mastering of something. You get?
Yes.
Now,
It's true. Experience leads you to mastery.
mastering of something. Even okay. Yes, I agree. Mastering of something. But what I'm trying to say, if we turn it upside down and say that just a practical aspect of something leads you to mastering it without involving the theoretical aspect of it. Now, I started an example of somebody who started business without having a theoretical aspect of that business. You get? It seems as if practical knowledge needs theoretical knowledge to survive. You get, and it seems as if theoretical knowledge needs practical knowledge. You get. So I don't know if you have anything to build on that, or if you have any objection on that. What do you have to say?
Oh, it's very true. But I see both of them harmonize together to give you a perfect understanding or better knowledge of things. Um, but it will be very, very wrong to, as we say, to make experience more in control. To put experience
More in control.
yeah,
More
at
in
all.
control. Yes.
To say, okay, you only need to experience. You only need to experience. You only need to experience to so that this has to be possible. This has to be possible. This has to. You just need experience. Someone who has experience. Someone who has experience. Someone who has experience. Sometimes experience in this place is not even the same in somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sometimes experience differ. And if you feel you have experience in this particular place, once you change your society or once something is changing, you see maybe the experience here cannot even be implemented somewhere else. So experience is good, but still more theoretical aspect, it's nice. It's good because if we check the way we mastered mathematics in primary school, secondary school, none of us went to the market, none of us went to the economic houses or stock market to do all those mathematical equations.
Yes.
But just those the theoretical aspect.
Just to the political aspect, and then when you come to market
this,
view,
this thing, you can divide this thing. With that, we had enough of knowledge that even helped people nowadays to enter into the market and see yourself.
But there is something funny again. There is something funny again. There are children who don't go to school, but they know how to calculate money.
Yes, but that does not make them.
You know?
That does not make them better than those that
Those
go to
who,
school.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's good. Things can be good, but we are looking for the ones that are better off. Many things are good, but we don't look for the good ones. We look for things that are better than that good.
On another note, I was considering of bringing this idea up again. You know, when you go for a job interview, they ask you how many years experience. How many years
Yes,
experience?
I think in employment
Faculty.
yeah, or that side, they ask for years experience to know how long have you been involved in this. Yes, but if you are always asking someone how long have you been involved in this, try to remember the person who you are asking how long he has been involved in this was once a novice. So if we have been always if the word has been asking and you go back, if you go back to the beginning, you see that there was a time nobody had the knowledge of
Nobody
that.
had the knowledge
so
of
how
that.
Would someone
Okay.
So I would it's a plea to people who work employers. Though it's good to have for someone to have experience, but equally give chance for those that don't have experience. Because if you keep on asking for, I mean, your experience, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
It's not working.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for our society.
And allow me to come in there quickly.
Okay.
You see, my lecturer once told me that it's asking people for experience. I mean, how was your working experience? For him, it's a cage, and it doesn't do justice to the fact that whether somebody who has 2 years experience and somebody who has 10 experience, it doesn't do justice to the fact that the man with the 10 years experience will do better than the guy with the 2 years experience. And for him, a very critical way of employing people would be just like he said his brother in the US went for a job, and it's an IT job. Instead of asking people what's your experience, they give them a task, about 10 of them. Give them a task. Go and complete the task.
Okay.
Whoever successfully completes the task, come and you'll be employed. And so in that, looking at that scenario now, you say and then you start asking what's your
Experience.
working experience, forgetting the fact that CV, curriculum vitae, it's written. Anything could be written there, and I could write, okay, I've had 5 years experience with Bertrand. I've had 10 years experience with Anthony, and then their numbers are there. And these people are my friends. And then you say, what's your working experience? And I said, it's there.
Yes.
And you ask, how many years working experience do you have? And I like, it's there. It's my CV. And when you look at it, and you say, okay, Anthony's firm, 5 years. Bertrand's firm, 10 years. Oh wow, 15 years experience. Yeah, if you doubt me, call them. And since they are my guys, you actually call them and ask, oh, we're trying to find out if this person actually, oh yeah, he's a very diligent worker. He worked with me 5 years. He worked with me 10 years. But then it's all a lie. You see?
Yeah.
So instead of asking people, what is your working experience? Why not test their working experience?
Or their working knowledge.
Or their working
their
knowledge.
knowledge of
Or
that.
their working knowledge.
We test your knowledge. We test your knowledge.
Instead of asking, what is your working experience? How many years experience do you have? Or you're asking somebody who is 30 years of age, and the job is 20 years experience or 15 years experience. Come on. How can a 30 years old person have 20 years experience? When are you trying to say he started that line of profession when he was basically 15 or when he was basically 10 years of age?
Yeah.
So some people, they really need to check that expression. What's your experience? I mean, what's your working experience? You
Okay.
really need to check it.
What you're suggesting or you're proposing that employers should reconsider that idea of asking the question, what is a working? What is your working experience? I would say, it's not really a bad question in a job
No,
interview.
it's not about.
It's not a, yeah, of course, we all agree that
Yes,
it's
of
not a
course.
bad question in the world. But the thing is that we are not to base our evaluation of that interview based on the working experience that person had.
Exactly.
But I don't know if there is an exception. If there is an exception, could there be an exception? Could there be? Because it is not all job. That is why you said that instead of asking the question or maybe disqualifying the person because he doesn't have a working experience, we should rather text the experience or the knowledge of that person.
Yes.
The knowledge of that person. Anyway, I think we have we are not here to say that this is what really stands, but we are trying to reconsider. We're trying to reconsider how experience is the best teacher. We are reconsidering this aphorism. How is experience the best teacher? You know. Now we have come to the conclusion or to a consensus, I would say, that experience needs the theoretical aspect of the thing, the theoretical aspect of whichever knowledge it is, so that they can work together.
Exactly.
Theoretical aspect and the practical aspect
Exactly.
of it. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you. I'd like to thank Anthony Odumegu for his wonderful contributions to the subject matter, and thank you to NRP Cornelius or Josh Shedman for his wonderful contributions to the subject matter. I still remain Bertrand Someone. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the bell button so that you can get our notifications once we post any of our golden dialogue. And also like our video. Please, if you have any idea to pass on to us, you can go to the comment section, pass it on in a respectful manner. We are not here to, we are just contributing our own opinion, our own idea, our own quota of knowledge to the subject matter. We are not saying that this is the final, because you might also have your own opinion on it. Please, if you do have any opinion on this, kindly drop it on this comment section there below. Thank you so much and keep alert.